SSM was the king of Minecraft minigames. Not many other games can say they've been close to SSM levels of popular during the golden years of Mineplex. In the event that you've been living under a rock for the last 6 years, SSM is a PvP minigame with kits based around different mobs in Minecraft. It essentially equates to Smash, but with a bit more map coverage and less reliance on combos. The variety makes any playstyle viable, meaning anyone can find a kit that they would enjoy playing. The maps themselves aren't that special, but they were good enough to make the gameplay better in most cases. People loved the game, and so Mineplex focused a lot of its time on ensuring that it maintained that quality. I was one of the many who poured countless hours into the game and actually became quite adept at many of the kits. It got to the point that in a 1v1 match I could kill every other player and win with all lives remaining. But like all games, there's always a drop-off eventually. The good days soon faded away, and what remains is just a shell of its former self. SSM began to suffer heavily a few years ago, when balancing issues with kits became the way the meta was structured, rather than just finding things that were actually good. So players began to value underappreciated exploits over kits that they are actually good with. And why is this?
Because of him.
Me.
I'd like to delve a lot into the Wolf kit right now. The Wolf kit has been broken for a very long time, and it seems like the devs really don't want to nerf it for some reason. I guess that constitutes as animal abuse if you flatten a dog into the ground. The real issue with the Wolf kit is that it is an instant win condition if you know how to play it correctly. Like any game, if you have no idea how to play your character, you'll end up dying more than expected. The Wolf kit's issue is that it has so many abilities that culminate in the ability to just force your opponent not to be allowed to play the game. This means someone with the Wolf kit is inherently stronger than anyone else playing their main, simply because the Wolf kit is already overpowered. My main, the Spider kit, has an ability that shoots a web to temporarily stick an opponent for a second or two until the web despawns. This ability is very difficult to master as the webs shoot randomly from the opposite direction you're looking. This gives it a skill requirement, essentially making it only good in the hands of someone who knows how to use the ability to its fullest. This also means the skill caps is seemingly very high, as the best of the best with the Spider kit should be able to hit every single web every single time when they try to use it on someone. The Wolf kit definitely has a skill requirement to be good with it, but not to the same extent as the web shoot ability that Spider has. The Wolf kit's ability is to throw a small wolf at a player to stun them for multiple seconds and increase damage to that player upon impact. Now hold on a second. Not only is this a blanket negative abilities for the target, as they cannot run away, but also makes time to kill for the target even lower. We'll talk more about the time to kill element in a little bit. The counter argument to this is that the ability is so hard to aim, there's no way anyone could do it ever.
Yes.
The real skill cap with the Wolf kit is being able to hit every throw with the stun ability, which is very easily attainable by many players. This makes the Wolf kit's skill cap significantly lower than Spider's, despite the ability being inherently more powerful. It's so bad in most cases that players will focus wolves in their game due to this. But wait, that's not even the only broken ability that Wolf kit has. The Wolf kit has two other abilities that make it more unfair. The first is a passive ability that increases damage every time you hit a player, stacking with each hit. This means that not only will you get stunned, but while you are stunned you will take extra melee damage and die even quicker than normal. But wait, there's more. You thought that a passive that deals more damage is broken? Well, get ready for Wolf's next ability, Wolf Strike. This ability allows the wolf to thrust itself wherever you look and deal damage to whatever it hits. So now, not only will you get stunned by the Wolf Throw ability and dealt more damage, but now the wolf gains distance and deals even more damage upon impact. But again, I hear the same argument. No one could possibly hit all abilities 100%.
Yes.
There are very few counters to the Wolf kit's stun, which makes almost every kit in the game objectively hard countered by a single move. To put that into perspective, the kit that I have seen hard counter my main, the Spider kit, the most, is probably the Zombie kit, because you can't get close enough to deal enough damage to it. And the Zombie kit has another ability that ensures that it can gain distance over you, so that it always keeps a distance from spiders. This is not that bad of a counter, as if I were mechanically better than the Zombie player, I should be able to beat them. But if we are equally skilled in raw mechanics, the Zombie kit has a natural advantage against me. But with the Wolf kit, it doesn't really matter how good you are at the mechanics of the game. They will almost always win. You might also be thinking that I'm over-exaggerating and that it's not as bad as I claim it to be. You must understand, I'm not some random guy coming into SSM with no experience complaining that the game is too hard. I've spent dozens, if not hundreds of hours playing it over the last few years, and I know what the game used to be like back then. Any kit was viable to play as long as you were good at it. Of course, certain kits were easier to play and others had a higher skill cap, but the game was actually playable. The enjoyment was there because it didn't matter what abilities were in the meta. There was also always a counter to those abilities. For instance, Slime Kit used to be pretty overpowered in the meta for some period of time. The kit focuses on growing in size as a passive, allowing you to then use your slime as sort of a cannon to launch yourself or another slime at a player. In some good games, there were at least 2 or 3 people playing the Slime Kit because it was just that good at the time. People began to realize this and switched to Skeleton to counter it. Skeleton Kit has the ability to shoot fletched arrows, which means that you can shoot a larger area with only one shot of an arrow. This made attacking the small hitbox of the slime kit much easier than trying to melee it, and so the meta had to evolve, with skeleton kit being slightly better than the slime. Another meta consisted of Iron Golem being especially powerful with its melee attacks, and its abilities were used to control your opponent's movements. To counter this, people tried keeping their distance and used range kits to deal more damage, instead of trying to melee that Iron Golem at close range. However, Iron Golem was also able to close distance, meaning that it was still too overpowered to play against. Mineplex did eventually nerf it, so the kit became close to unplayable for a while. But neither of these situations exist for the Wolf kit. We haven't had something to change its place at top of the meta, or rework to fix its absurd abilities, and this has been like this for a while now. I remember coming back a few years ago trying to play this game, and Wolf was still broken. And Wolf mains really be telling people to leave the game so it's faster for them to win, because even they know that the kit is too broken for its own good. Now hold on a second. I can hear some of you screaming, well, of course you're getting mad about being overpowered. You're playing against Infdog. That's not a valid counter-argument. Infdog, for those not aware, is a highly esteemed SSM player claiming he can beat every other high-level player with any kit. He's never beaten me without Wolf kit, and many other normies have beaten me with Wolf kit without mechanical skill. So that argument doesn't work in the slightest. Let's take a step back for a minute. Remember when this video was about SSM and not the Wolf kit? Yeah, those were some good times. Feels like it was just last week. I may have delved a bit too far into the Wolf kit, but I believe it is a glaring flaw in the structure of the game. There are many different kits that are really fun to play, and I got a chance to go back and relearn all the nuances of what made them so fun to play. The Cow kit was really fun to just gain momentum and just body anyone who tried to fight against me. Except the Milk Spiral is still a little buggy. Skeleton Horse was kinda as the kick ability only does knockback about 50% of the time. Sheep kit was just very overpowered as usual, just shooting lasers across the map. The Skeleton kit was a bit less strong than I remember, which was a little disappointing, but it is still one of the most fun kits to play. A lot of people say that Creeper is really good, while Blaze is really noobish, which makes 100% no sense at all. But you know, let's give them the benefit of the doubt. Let's look into why people think the Creeper kit is so good. You get a right-click ability that allows you to throw a small attack at your opponent to deal a little less damage. You then are able to do close-quarter damage to a very large degree and escape by using that right-click as a deterrent from fighting longer. If their health gets too low or they fall off a cliff, they can always use their other ability, which charges up a blast that lets them go in any direction and recover with ease. Oh, I'm sorry guys, I was reading the Blaze kit's description. Let's read the Creepers now.
Oh no.
The kits are essentially the same. The only real difference is that one of them makes you take burn damage and the other one gives you shocking damage if you attack it, the ranged weapon, and then go in for a melee. The real kit that people need to call newish is Snowman kit. Back in the day, this was the safety kit for most players who weren't very good at the game and just wanted to survive until the final two. The kit gives you an ability that's a decent amount of knockback with pretty much no cooldown, as well as an ability that lets you recover from any fall or climb any vertical distance instantly, and neither of these abilities require much skill to use, which means that this kit is just a tad too good for its worth. I know there are going to be some Snowman mains defending it as a good kit, and I'm sure it is possible to get really good at it, but objectively speaking, its skill cap is much lower than other kits in the game. I want to close with this one last section. SSM is now a shadow of what the golden years of Mineplex were. I remember the fun that I had playing SSM with friends, and I remember how much better the game used to be. It's just a shame that this game has died from its own balancing issues. I guess it's better off than Castle Siege when it got removed, being completely unplayable after its 2017 update. I really hope Mineplex balances some of the kits in the near future, because the game is just not fun with the current changes. The most fun I had playing was being able to destroy people that don't know how to fight against Spider Kit. I don't really think the game is worth playing in its current state, to be honest, as it really just isn't fun, and it just isn't exciting to have to deal with unbalanced kits and toxicity that ensues. Thank you for watching. I know this video will probably be hated by a lot of the SSM community, but I don't really care at this point. But hey, if you want to play the original Smash, just get yourself a Switch. It'll cost over $350, but at least it's more fun than this.